Okay, guys, it's time to get a little bit lifted in here, if you know what I mean. And we're going to get really lifted because we're about to be talking about JavaScript hoisting. And JavaScript hoisting is one of the strangest behaviors that you will ever see in any type of programming language. And this occurs because of one reason, and that reason is JavaScript is a JIT compiler. If you don't know what a JIT compiler is, a JIT compiler stands for a just-in-time compiler. Now, you don't need to know the crazy details about how compilers work, but it basically means that code is going to be executed, in a sense, one line at a time. And this causes tons of strange issues, including hoisting. So if we were to actually try to execute this code right here, this is actually valid. And if you look at this code, you may be thinking to yourself, that makes no sense because you are console logging it before you are actually declaring it. That can't happen. Well, it actually can happen because of JavaScript hoisting. And why does it happen? Because what JavaScript does is it takes JavaScript declarations and stores them at the top before anything. Now, it's important to know the difference between a JavaScript declaration and a JavaScript initialization. This is an initialization. This right here, initialization. This is a JavaScript declaration. This is actually what's being hoisted to the top. But essentially, at the end of the day, you see totally different code, and this is exactly what JavaScript sees. And we're going to go hop into VS Code. We're going to take a look at variables. We're going to take a look at functions. We're going to learn this so that you never have issues again ever in your life, and you never see a undefined variable ever again. Let's go inside VS Code. Okay, so we are in VS Code, and let's just test out the worst possible scenario, the worst possible example that we probably could. Blasphemy. Let's just try to log a foo really quick, just console log a foo and see what happens. What's going to happen is that you're going to get the worst possible error that you're ever going to see. You're going to get a reference error, meaning that this doesn't exist in memory. This doesn't exist anywhere. I don't know what you want. This is bullshit. I'm leaving. Essentially what it's saying. But when you actually hoist, or when you employ hoisting code that should not work, code just like this, what's going to happen is this code in a normal language like Java, C# should not work. And it doesn't really make sense at all. Like console logging before you actually declare the variable, who does that? But what happens is that we get an undefined. We don't get the 2. It would be really crazy if we got the 2, but we don't actually get the 2 because what's happening is that JavaScript is hoisting the declaration. It's not hoisting the whole entire thing. It's not bringing the 2 up there. It's just hoisting the declaration. And hoisting actually occurs within functions too. So if I console log my function like this, I go into here, I go console log, I go foo, and let's just say I'm gonna var foo and assign a 10 here. Then I go down here and I go my function and just execute the function like that. Exact same thing occurs. But don't worry, because we actually have allies in this crazy behavior, because you don't want actual hoisting to occur. Hoisting is not an actual feature of the language that people really want. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple console logs, and I'm just going to take these and copy them down, and we'll put a foo here, put a bar, and we'll put a baz. Then what we're going to do is we will log individual foo as a var. This is not what we want, so this is the bad one. Var is not what we want. You never want to use var except in very strange cases. Then we'll have a const, and then we'll have a baz right here, and we'll just assign crazy numbers to them. Then we'll go ahead and run them, and you will see what happens. And what's going to happen when we actually console log this is you're going to get undefined for the first value, the var, which is not what we want. And then we are going to get red reference errors, which is exactly what we don't want. But as you can notice that you get the nice little message bar before initialization, and they are grouped together, so you don't get the actual const one, but it is grouped with the actual bar. But This actually applies to functions as well too. So let's have a crazy example where we have a foo right here, and then we have a bar, and then we have a good old function boring declaration. A function declaration is the least fancy type of function. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a function foo, then we will go down here, and then we're going to make a bar. Let me see here, I need to change that. Bar was misspelled. Then we're going to have a bar here, and then we are going to make a function expression. And within this function expression, we are going to log, I don't know, maybe a 10. So go into here, and you notice that the type error, and you notice here that the function declaration actually works. So the function declaration actually works, but the function expression is not being hoisted. Function expressions are not actually hoisted. And this is because JavaScript actually made the function expression to combat this. Remember that hoisting is not something that you want to actually occur. Let const, arrow functions, function expressions, and function expressions are actually made to stop hoisting. And that is pretty much all that you need to know about hoisting. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching.